Hello, and welcome to Meet the Author, a show where we explore the world through the imagination of talented writers. On this show, we will talk with authors from Laurel, Prince George's County, the DMV, and beyond. Hello, and welcome to Meet the Author. Christmas 2017, Annette James decided to gift herself an ancestry DNA test just to find out about her African heritage. In addition to her heritage, what else she found out has changed her life drastically. To find out more about her discovery and the journey she's been on since, let's meet Miss Annette James. Hello, Miss James. Nice to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me, Christine.
Thank you. So we mentioned your book in the beginning, but we just want to start with some background about you so the viewers can get to know a little bit about Miss James.
Okay.
So tell us about yourself, about you're married and with children. Tell us a little bit about you.
Great. So, yes, I am married. My husband of 20 years now. And I have we have two boys. One is recently married a year ago, and the other one is 18 in the 11th grade. So we have one more year left. Let's see, what else?
Career, because I know you have a career in law enforcement. Tell us all about that.
Yes. So, yes, I have a 20-year career with Prince George's County Police Department. I rose through the ranks and actually became the first African-American female major in the history of the police department for Prince George's County.
Very nice.
Yes. So it was a blessing, and it was, thank God that He kept me safe those 20 years that I was there.
That's great.
Yes.
Okay, and just some more about you, your hobbies and everything. You act and are in plays and movies. Tell us about your acting career.
Okay, so I feel like I've been acting all my life. I remember, doing skits with my sister growing up, and we would perform them in front of friends and family. So I think I've always had that acting bug. Okay. I remember doing plays in elementary school and high school. When I went on to college, I took theater classes at Howard University, and then I took a different path. I ended up on the police department, but I always knew that I would come back and finish school. So I continued at Bowie State University while I was on the police department, and got my degree while I was there. Still taking acting classes, and as you know, doing a lot of different plays through our drama ministry at church. And then from there, I started taking more theater classes. So apparently this was something else that I was supposed to be doing as well. And I ended up I just started auditioning for not just plays, but movies and commercials and industrials as well. So I was able to do some industrials for the American Red Cross. Okay. That was really interesting, very educational. I also did some plays. One recently, this past November, I was in a gospel stage play called The Home. Okay. And interestingly enough, it's about a family who was dealing with their older parent who started showing signs of dementia and Alzheimer's. Something that baby boomers are now having to face as their parents are living longer, and those issues are starting to come up. So that was a very not only informative but educational as well. Right. And a lot of people got we got a lot of really good positive feedback about that gospel stage play.
That sounds good. Yes. You've been pretty busy, so you're going to keep on with your acting career.
Busy, yes. Every time I think I'm going to take a break from it, God shows me a different path, and He said, "Oh no, I've got another one for you." Right. So I'm really appreciative of that. I've actually been able to do some local independent films as well. One called Two Saved, which actually won a Dove Award, and another called Nocturnal Agony, starring one of my favorite people from long ago, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, if you know that name, and another one called Misunderstandings. So all locally independent films.
Okay. Sounds
Yes,
good.
so
Sounds
I'm
pretty.
staying in the, keeping one foot
Right.
in the game. Yes,
That
yes.
sounds exciting. Sounds like it keeps you
Yes.
busy and sounds like
Keeps
fun.
me busy
So,
and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. After law enforcement,
Right.
acting,
Something different too. Totally
something completely different, a lot more fun.
Right.
Definitely.
Well, that's
yeah.
good. And then, so
Yes.
speaking of something different, so you've been in law enforcement, you're doing
Yes.
acting and play, so you
Yeah.
decided to write a book.
Decided to write a book.
So we're going to talk about your book a little bit and what the premise of the book is. So what made you decide to purchase your Ancestry DNA kit? Like what prompted you? I know there are commercials and things on TV, but what made you say, hey,
Yes,
let me go pick one of
yes.
those up?
Well, you know, Ancestry DNA or Ancestry.com, they've been around for a long time. And I always thought that one day I would actually go ahead and take that test, just because I was probably like the one in the family who wanted to know more about, you know, where we came from,
Right.
our roots, because we can trace them back but so far. And I figured, well, if I took this test at some point, I would be able to go even further than you know, where I was originally able to go. So in 2017, I gifted myself a DNA kit for Christmas, because around that time, they all go on sale.
Okay.
You know, whichever one it is, whether it's 23andMe or Ancestry and a lot of other ones out there, they go on sale. And I saw the sale, and I said, oh, this must be it. This is a great time to buy this kit. So I purchased the kit. I did get it in December, but I did not send it back to them until January of 2018.
Okay.
And that is when the
Results came back.
Yeah, the results came back.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
just, like I said, we don't want to give too much away because that's the
Yes.
premise of your book and it's a great
Yes.
story. So just
Yes.
share your initial reaction. So you've taken the test, you sent it in, you're waiting, okay, I'm
Yes,
from
yes.
Africa. And when you
Yeah.
got your response, how was it? How did you react?
Wow. Well, you know, it was just a normal day in February, and I said, okay, let me open up my results online, because you register your kit before you send it out, so they can let you know where your kit is in the process.
Okay.
So I got an email, I remember, that said, oh, we're processing your results now. Any day you're going to get your results back. I was getting excited. And then February 27th, I got the results back. And I remember the email said something along the lines of, we're so excited for you. You're about to find out, you know, where your DNA is in the world,
Right.
and maybe even find some relatives on there as well. So that was even more exciting.
Right.
So when I opened up the results, I remember looking past a lot of names and looking for some familiar names. And I did see a second cousin on there whom I pretty much grew up with. I sent her an email. I said, hey, I guess this DNA stuff really works,
Right.
because there you are, here I am. It says we're second cousins. So I went back to the beginning. I started seeing names that I was not familiar with. And one of the top names said that this person was your father. And I did not recognize the initials or anything. And I thought to myself, I don't think my dad took a DNA test at all. So I thought that the information was incorrect,
Right,
and maybe I needed to
was thinking.
refresh the page
Right.
to see if it would correct itself. And it did not. So at this point, I remember my heart started beating faster.
Right.
And I was confused, and I was trying to figure out what exactly was going on. And so I emailed the second name on that list.
Okay.
And probably less than 10 minutes from that email, he sent me an email.
Okay.
And we had some emails back and forth, because I figured I'm not going to give this person, the stranger,
Right.
my telephone number, because I don't know who this is. It could be someone crazy out there.
Exactly.
So he ended up he sent me his telephone number. And I said, wow, okay. So I guess I need to call him.
Right.
And that is where the adventure began.
Right. So we'll put a pin right
I'll
there
put a pin
so they can read all about it in the book. So
Yes,
it's interesting. So you have this
yes.
initial reaction. You have to
Yes.
process all your emotions and deal with all that.
Yes, yes.
And so in dealing with that, you decided to write a book. Like, what made you want to document this and write a book and share it this way?
Well, initially, I started journaling. I figured maybe if I journal, I can process this information better.
Okay.
And get all my thoughts and feelings out, because it was traumatic,
Right.
very traumatic. But then I realized as I was journaling that the journaling was for me, but the book was going to be for
Okay.
everyone else out there who had experienced this type of traumatic, this traumatic experience.
Right.
There's actually a phrase that has been coined to kind of relate to what this is. And I'm sure you've probably heard of PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, or post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right.
Someone has actually coined this PTDD, and it's like post-traumatic DNA test results disorder,
Wow.
because there are thousands, if not millions, of people out there who are experiencing this type of
Right.
trauma probably on a daily basis.
Right.
Just to let you know, the site that I use, Ancestry, they have over 15 million people who have been DNA tested.
Okay.
And I got to thinking, wow, out of that 15 plus million, how many people have gotten a DNA test surprise
Right.
as I have?
Right.
So I just wanted to be able to use my experience to bless other people out
Right.
there, to let them know, because when it happens, you don't know what to do,
Right, right.
who to talk to, because it's not something that happens or that that happens every day. So I just wanted to be able to help some other people out there, just using my experience.
And that's good. And I
that.
can imagine there's stuff in your journal that's not in the book. Like you said, the journal was just for you.
The journal was just for me,
So some more
Christine.
things in there
Yes,
that you
indeed.
couldn't share, but
Yes,
once
indeed.
you process and go through stuff,
As
you
a
can.
matter of fact, you mentioned that. I remember as I was typing information for my book, there were things that I typed in there that I knew I was not going to leave in
Right.
there. But at that moment, I needed to see that
Right.
in black and white on paper. And I put a pen in it, and I
Right,
said,
right.
well, I know this is not going to stay, but for now, I need to leave that in there for me.
Yeah.
And, eventually went back and deleted
Like,
because
no,
I knew.
keep it for me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of bolded that area, and I said, okay, all right, okay, I'm good now. Let's take that out now.
That's a good point, because a lot of people
Yes.
start writing based on journaling. But like you said, the journal is for you. You can share, but you don't have to share everything.
You don't have to share everything. Yes, indeed.
And
Yes, indeed.
so, like you mentioned, we know each other from church. And so I know you're a
Yes.
Christian woman.
Yes.
And you have scripture references throughout your book. And I can
Yes.
imagine, your faith played a vital part. So just tell us how that helped you deal with your
Wow,
discovery.
Wow. I think if it had not been for my relationship that I have with Jesus, I would not have been able to get through this at all. As a matter of fact, he was the first person that I called on when all this was going on, because I knew that if I was going to get through it, I was going to need his word
Right.
on a completely different level. And he showed true to himself. He has always been there for me in any situation in my past. And I knew he was going to be there for this situation in my present. And even though initially, it's funny, how God blesses you. So I can just, I had this this thought in my mind that he just said, okay, this particular day in February, I'm about to bless you. But it's not going to look like a blessing initially, but it will be a blessing to you. And not only for you, but for thousands of other people out there as well.
And then, like you mentioned before, like we find this out, you don't know who to
Yeah.
turn to. We know
Don't
who we
know.
can turn to.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
at
indeed.
all times.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So that's very good
Yes.
that you have that in there. Like it gives people hope. Like if they don't have anyone to talk to, other family
Yes.
members or friends, that they have a
Yes.
Holy Father that they can go to.
Absolutely,
share.
absolutely. And that probably that one word, hope, is what he gives us on a daily basis,
Right.
that hope. And if you hang on to that hope and stay in hope, you can get through not only my situation, but any situation that you're experiencing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So after you found this out, you wrote your book, you're dealing with it,
Yeah.
you decide to host a book signing. So you write your
Yeah.
book, and then you have to have a book signing, and then you're here
Yes.
with all these family and friends that people are looking at you. So what we want to do first is, because I was able to join you at your book signing, you
Yes.
decided to read a portion of your book. So we
Yes.
just want to show a brief clip of you reading a portion of your book and share with the viewers, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
In December of 2017, I gifted myself a DNA test for Christmas. I wanted to delve deeper into my ancestry. I wanted to know more about my roots. If Alex Haley could find his path back to Africa, I could surely find mine. February 27th, 2018, 10 a.m. was an exciting moment. I had just received my ancestry DNA test results back, and I was ready to discover the regions of Africa my ancestors lived before the forced migration. The email from Ancestry DNA said, "You're about to discover your ethnicity estimate. Get a unique look at your family's journey through generations and maybe even connect with long lost relatives." We're so excited for you! That's all I'm gonna read. So read the book for the rest.
Okay, so with your book signing, we just listened to you read a portion of your book. So like I mentioned, you're in this room full of family and friends, and you're reading out
Yes.
loud what you had gone through. Just share that experience with us a little bit.
Wow. Oh man, it was probably a very surreal moment for me. I remember when it was over, I was like, what just happened? Did that really just happen?
Right.
So I think what this process has given me, or what the Holy Spirit has given me, what God has given me, is more courage to talk about it, because there's another thing that I want people to know who've experienced it, or they have relatives who have experienced it, is that I am not a secret, that they are not a secret, that their family is not a secret.
Right.
I think one of the first things I did at my book signing was I had my siblings who were there stand up to be recognized, to let them know, that I'm a part of their life and they're a part of mine.
Right.
And it's been a little over a year now. And I just want people to know, be courageous about this, because in the time of modern technology, people are finding out, like I said, probably every day this information. So, I wanted to let people know, I'm not a secret, they're not a secret, and we are all family,
Right.
Bounded by love and bounded by our love for Christ. And so for me to be able to stand up there and share that story with them and answer questions, I felt it was very freeing, actually, to be able to do that, because I know there are a lot of people out there who are not there yet.
Right.
Not there yet. And I want them to get there,
Right.
and to let them know that it's okay. Be courageous. It's okay to talk about it. It's part of who you are. It's part of your DNA. So,
Exactly.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, now with
Definitely.
that courageousn's, it's funny that you said that. So it was an open forum. So the questions, you
Yes.
didn't know what they were going to ask you.
No.
So, like, were you nervous? What did you think was going to happen?
Yes, with every question, with every question, I was like, oh my God, what are they
Right,
going
right.
to say? But some of the questions I really had to think long and hard about before answering. because they were just that good of a
Right.
question. From the very first question, I remember my sister Aisha from church, she asked, you know how you can get people to start asking questions when you open it up, to open the floor up. And I said, okay, anyone, and no one would raise their hand, and then her hand shot up. I said, oh, I knew you would get it going. But as soon as she did, other people started asking questions, and I even got questions from my new siblings who were there, and I believe my older sister sibling who was there as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it was very interesting to see what people thought of what I had gone through, and how I was doing, how I was handling it, and then I know there were people in the room who have experienced it, or they know someone who's experienced it, because every time I tell someone about my book, Turning My Pieces into Peace, they either are that person, or they know someone who has gone through it. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Very good. So you are reaching people that you feel God wants you to reach.
Yes, indeed. So I know that I'm going in the right direction. As a matter of fact, when I was journaling and telling close friends that I was journaling and what happened to me, there were 3 people who said, well, you know what? You need to be writing a book. And I thought, I don't even like to journal. Right. You want me to write a book? So by the 4th time, I said, okay, Lord, okay, I hear you. Okay, I understand that you are telling me to write this book, and it's not for me, it's for other people.
Just thinking it too, for someone else.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So we mentioned the question that they asked. You had the question and answer period. So again, we just want to take a few minutes to show some of the questions that were asked during your book signing. So let's take a look.
A couple of questions. I read the book, and in the beginning of the book, this guy's name Sean that's mentioned a lot. Actually, I think I called you and asked you about him, but actually I want to ask you, because I know he was there for you a lot in the beginning, and want to know if he answered all your questions that you needed answered, and if you have any more questions.
Okay. So, I think I talked to either you or somebody else about this, and that is, when I first discovered, when I first received that DNA discovery, and I was online and all, and Sean and I started talking about it, if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else who I was, who I had that first contact with. And then that person's name would have been mentioned in there a lot in the beginning. And I think, like so many people have said, God's perfect timing, that Sean had been, can you wave so people know I'm talking about you? Sean had been on that site for 20 years. Wow. And I always thought about, especially when like Finding Your Root came on and all that, great. Go look back and see, do like Alex Haley did, and go back and find your roots back and all that. But it took me, all those years to actually, it was Christmas of 2017. And I said, okay, I'm gonna finally do it. Okay, all right, out the gates. I've seen the program enough times now. Let me go and give myself a DNA test kit for Christmas. When I did, and then that January came around, I got my results. I think 10 minutes after I had sent Sean an email about, hey, looks like we're closely related, but I don't know who you are. And then we started talking from there. He kind of led me through to all the rest of the family, who you see sitting here today and some that aren't here. So I thank God for God, but I thank God for him being on the site. I don't know if anybody else was, as a close relation, actually as a brother. And then from him, finding out all the other family members that were on there. And then finding out they were just waiting to meet me and wanted to know me, that was just a huge blessing because, like you said, like a lot of people said, like the young lady said in the back, that's not everybody's story. You know, and I belong to a site, a closed group on Facebook that has over 2,000 members and more, and that's just one group, there's several of them on there on social media. The stories that I read from people who are finding out and how the other family doesn't want anything to do with them and how they're going to receive this, how they're going to, put this part of them being the secret and going with the rest of their lives. There's so many horrible stories out there. So I really just thank the Lord that, like I said, I got a different relationship with God now than before this all happened. Because He showed me just how more, He was already wonderful, but how more wonderful that He actually is. So, so He answered questions that I needed at the time, and I think as the years go by, Adrian and I were talking, Adrian and I were talking about, she's always like I want to know everything about you. And I'm like, wow, there was childhood, and the teenage years, and then the early adult years, and then where I am now. So how do we feel that? Long answer to your short question.
So I just want to know, and you touched on it because I want to know everything about you, and I just want to know when the next book is going to come. Because I read your book so fast because I was waiting. I wanted to know all the answers. I wanted to know everything about you. And so when the book came out, I was like, okay, wait a minute. I need another book. So when is the next book coming? And one more question. Who's the favorite sibling? No, I'm kidding.
The only one to ask about what's the next book coming out? It's whatever the Lord wants me to do. He wants me to write another one. He told me. He does. The answer to your second question is, you are all right.
There you go. I have a quick question. When did you kind of know, wow, I need to do a book about this?
So the first question, how did I come about writing a book? That's funny for me is because I had no plans at all to ever write a book. Ever. Wasn't on my radar. I didn't think of myself as an author or anything like that. I was, living my life and, just doing regular stuff. So after it all happened, one of the things that I did was I started journaling, something I don't like doing. Every time we have the sister group at church or anything, oh yeah, you should start journaling. And I'm like, and I'll start. Let me do a couple of pages, and I'm like, I can't journal. So, but when this happened, I think it was more like the Holy Spirit saying, you need to journal. And as I'm journaling like every day, maybe even twice a day journaling, one person said, you need to write a book. And then I was like, And then I started getting this nudge from, it couldn't have been anything else but the Holy Spirit saying, you need to be writing this book. And then 2 other people said, oh, you really need to be writing this book. So I said, okay, Lord, all right, I hear you. I'm going to start writing this book. So that's how it actually came about that I started writing. It was, Holy Spirit, and He said, okay, I'm sending you some iron sharpeners to tell you the same thing. You need to be writing. So I was just trying to be obedient. And I knew I was supposed to be writing it because, when you have a close relationship with God, and you hear him talking to you, when you hear him talking to you, you have a close relationship with him. So when I wasn't working on it, I could hear him, and he was pushing me. You should be sitting down right now. You should be writing this chapter right now. I don't know what you're doing, but you should be writing this chapter.
Okay, so we just got finished listening to some of the questions that were asked through your book signing. You had a chance to share with how you felt. Yes. Then we had a chance to talk to some of your siblings there, talk to your friends. So they have a chance to share some well wishes with you. What I'm going to do is provide you that information at another time.
Okay.
Because they had some really good well wishes for you, and I definitely want to make sure you get those and share that with you. So what I like to do now is just play a little word game. You know, with authors, we have to have a way with words. So I just want to real briefly kind of lighten up the mood and play a game. So when this happened to you, I guess it was shocking and something you had to deal with. So this word game is just a speed word game. I'm just going to throw a word at you. You just come back at me with the
timer somewhere?
No timer. You just come with the first word that comes to mind because you're used to this now. And then I take like some pieces from your book, some different words from your book to help along.
Okay.
So the first word I have is Christmas.
Wow. Wow is my answer.
Christmas. Every time you think of Christmas now, it's going to be wow.
Christmas, yes, family.
Okay.
Family.
How about pieces? P-I-E-C-E-S, pieces.
Just one word?
Well, you can say what you think.
Okay, I'm thinking pieces as a broken glass shattering on the floor, and several pieces that you really don't know how to put it back together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then how about peace, the P-E-A-C-E?
Jesus. Yes.
Okay. Healing.
Continual.
Okay.
Yes, continual.
Hope.
Every day. Have hope every day is what God gives us. Through his word and through his son, Jesus. He gives us hope every day to just keep going forward.
Right.
Keep going forward. And whatever situation you may be in, he is the answer.
Okay.
So he is hope.
He is hope.
Yes.
How about love?
Family.
That's a good
Lots of family now. Lots
good
of
one.
family.
Okay. How about journey?
Oh boy, journey. My word for journey would probably be one step at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how you have to take it. Very good.
Yes.
Okay, discovery.
Really, Christine? Discovery. Oh gosh. Well, in this case, discovery was a blessing.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to say a blessing.
And this is the last one.
Okay.
Oh, family.
Oh, my last word is family?
Last word is family.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my last phrase for family would be from 3 to 9.
Growth, huh?
Growth.
I
Lots
love it.
of brothers and sisters now.
I love it. But it all goes together with the love and everything else, too.
Yeah, so I grew up in a family of 3, and I was the middle child. And now I have 4 brothers and 4 sisters, for which I am the oldest of my new group.
Okay.
So I'm an older middle child.
Older middle child.
Yes.
That's great. So definitely thank you for playing the game with me.
You're welcome.
Are there any more books to come? Now you wrote this book, you got it all out. Anything else coming from you?
It's so funny. There have been a few people who have read the book and said, keep writing. We're waiting for the next book.
Wow.
So I'm just going to wait and see what the Lord has me to do. If it's another book, or maybe this book will turn into a feature film.
Right.
Or a stage play. You never know.
Because the sky's the limit.
The sky's the limit, absolutely.
And that's what your background is. So that's normal progression. It just has
There
to
you
go
go.
there.
There
I
you
love
go.
it. All right. So thank you again. Just take a moment to share your contact information if you have any social media, and definitely where someone can pick up your book so they can learn more about your journey.
Okay, great. So you can pick up my book, Turning My Pieces into Peace, on Amazon, also at Barnes & Noble as well. Or if you see me around town, I always have books with me. Also, I'm on Facebook. And if you want to reach out to me, you've read my book, you want to leave me a comment at all, or you just have some questions you want to ask about my journey, you can reach me at Annette James at piecesintopeace.com.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. And again, we hope, we know it was a lot for you to go through, but we definitely hope that
Yes.
your journey can help others.
Absolutely.
And you continue the healing process.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you for
Yes.
being here.
Thank you for having me.
All righty. We'll be right back. Turning My Pieces into Peace is Annette James's journey of discovery. In this book, she shows that with God's help, a moment that changed the course of her life and could have shattered her, instead brought about a peace that transcends anything she could have understood on her own. I think one of her guests at the book signing said it best when she said, Annette told her story, and she didn't have to bash anyone or put anyone else down to give her account of what happened in her life. You should check it out. It truly is an inspirational read. Here are a few tips on how to host a successful book signing event. Prepare. Choose a venue, date, and time, and have promotional materials and books, of course, ready to hand out. Reach out. Let the local newspaper and/or radio station know when and where the book signing will be taking place. Mail postcards, and of course, make good use of all social media outlets. And engage your audience. Have light refreshments, a book reading, question and answer time, so they can get to know the author behind the words. These are just a few helpful hints. For more information, visit J Media Publishers at www.jmediagroup.net. I would like to thank Ms. James for joining me today and sharing her DNA discovery and journey. It must have been a difficult experience to go through. Her faith allowed her to not only go through it with love, patience, and forgiveness, but to open up and share it in an effort to help others. We wish her the best of luck through the rest of her journey. If you're an author and would like to be featured on our program, you can send an email to cmjohnson@laurel.md.us or call 301-725-5300, extension 2110. We would love to have you on the show. I'm Christine Johnson, reminding you to open a book and let it take you on your next adventure.